Hi, I'm Paula from Happy Yoga Wales, and this is a yin yoga practice for the sacral chakra, which is all about embracing our emotions and feeling them completely. And today I'm lucky enough to be outside from beautiful North Wales. The sun is shining. It's a little bit cooler than I thought it was going to be, but I'm going to make the most of this lovely weather while I can. So you don't need any equipment for this practice. If you've got a couple of cushions or blocks, they might come in handy, but I'm not going to be using anything today. So come and make your way down onto your back. Bring the soles of the feet together and come on down. So bring the shoulder blades underneath you. Make yourself comfortable. We're going to be holding all of our poses for about 2 minutes today, but this first one will settle in for just a little bit longer. So just picking up the back of the head, lengthening the neck. And then go ahead and bring the thumbs together and the index fingers to make this little diamond shape. And then just placing that down so the thumb is just below the belly button. And then just bring your attention to all the points of contact between your body and the ground. Feel free to close the eyes. Or if you're lucky enough to be outside like me, just gazing up at the sky. And feel the breath as it comes in, maybe rising in the belly. And as you exhale, feel the belly fall. And just connect into the breath here. And so this sacral chakra is all to do with emotions and feelings, and for me, anything that is fluid and creative I associate with the feminine energy. And we all have this in us, whether we're male, female, other. So today we're really connecting with this feminine energy and our emotional body. And so without labeling our emotions as good or bad, without judging them, liking them, disliking them, let's see if we're able to fully feel our emotions in our physical body. Because after all, it is emotions that make us human. And as we move through this practice, I'll offer you the affirmation, I feel. And you can add to that if you want to. Maybe I feel completely. Or I feel the joy in my life. Or just very simply, I feel. And then when you're ready, take a big breath in. And gently sigh it out. Lovely. So releasing your mudra, releasing the hands and bringing them to the outside of the thighs. And just give the thighs, the legs, a little bit of help to bring the knees back up towards center. And just pause here a moment with the feet on the ground. And just notice any sensations. So again, we're really linking the physical body with this emotional body today. And seeing if we can keep the mind, the thinking mind, out of the picture. Easier said than done, I know. Okay, so coming into happy baby pose, we're going to bring the right knee into the right hand and the left knee into the left hand. And then just squeeze those knees up towards the armpits, up towards the shoulders. First option is to stay here, so lengthening through the tailbone and just relaxing here. If you want to come into happy baby pose, you can keep the knees exactly where they are and start to straighten the legs up towards the sky or the ceiling. It's the sky for me today. I'm enjoying being outside. So just gently encouraging those knees down towards the shoulders and out away from the centre of the body, and holding wherever feels comfortable. So maybe the shins, the ankles, or if you're very open, reaching for the feet or even the big toes. And just softening wherever you can here. So even though the arms might be doing a little bit of work, relaxing the muscles of the face, neck and shoulders. Allowing the breath to flow smoothly and evenly. And if it isn't, then that's a sign that maybe we've gone a little bit too deep into the pose and we could back off a little bit. And the colour associated with the sacral chakra is the colour orange. So maybe visualise where we had our hands at the start of our practice, just below the belly button. Visualise a brilliant orange sunset or sunrise, glowing and filling your body. And then when you're ready, inhaling deeply and sighing it out. So then just bring the big toes together here and just take a loose hold of the knees. Maybe even make some circles with the knees. Again, just noticing anything that's coming up, either physically or emotionally. And just like these lovely fluffy clouds that were above me, just notice them and let them drift on by without clinging to anything that might be there. So bringing the feet back down to the ground. And we're going to make our way up, so just rolling onto one side, take your time here. And we're going to come into a dragon pose. Oh, that sun is lovely. So setting ourselves up on all fours. And then bringing the right leg forwards. So to do this, you can bring the leg round the outside or straight through in between the hands. And then just find a position where you can let the hips relax down here. So collarbones are nice and broad, shoulders are relaxing down away from the ears. And we don't want to come down into our deepest version of this lunge straight away here. So just find that comfortable edge. Maybe even moving a little bit side to side. And my feet here are hip distance apart with the toes facing straight ahead. You can always take this front foot out a little bit wider, even at a diagonal if that feels good for you, and just allow the hips to sink through here. So a lot of this will depend on your hip socket and what feels best for you, where you feel you need that stretch. So when you feel that you found that place that feels right for you, just find some stillness. And if you've got blocks, if you're practicing at home, this is a nice place to put your hands on blocks, just to give yourself a little bit more space. And knowing that if you feel uncomfortable, then It's okay to move. So we don't want to come to a place where we're creating tension in the body. If our practice starts to cause that tension, then just adjust a little bit, shake it out, wiggle it out. And then taking a last breath here, big breath in. And sighing it out. Lovely. So from here, we're just going to send the hips back very gently and find a little hamstring stretch just to release the hips for a moment. We're not going to stay here in this one. Maybe just point and flex the foot, or even wiggle the hips gently side to side. Nice. And then take that foot all the way around, coming back to our tabletop position. And we'll find that on the other side. So bring in the left leg forwards. Again, picking your version of our dragon pose. And just kind of wiggling the hip. So you'll find a place where maybe the hip socket doesn't kind of sit right. So everyone's hip socket and thigh bone is different. So you don't want any pinching here. So just find that place that feels good for you. It's okay if the knee comes beyond the ankle here. There's no danger of hurting the knee. But if it does feel better for you to come a little bit further back, then that's okay too. And again, just finding that place where you can be soft through the upper body, allowing the hips to sink down and forwards. And give the belly permission to be soft here as you breathe. As you breathe in, really let it fill up. Noticing how that relaxes the whole body. And then when you're ready, take a big breath in here. And exhale, sigh it out. Lovely. Okay, so again, walking the hands back just a little bit so we can send the hips back. Find a little hamstring stretch. So this is just a counter pose. Release the hips. And hopefully it feels good. Okay, so bringing that foot all the way back round to our tabletop position one more time. And from here we're going to come into our swan pose, our sleeping swan. So bringing the right knee forwards towards the right wrist. And the left foot comes towards the left hip. And it might be that your foot comes a little bit further towards the front of the mat, but I like to keep mine tucked in here. I haven't got my trusty blocks with me today, but if I did, I would pop it underneath this right hip. So maybe you want to do the same. It just stops you from rolling onto that one side there. So again, just settling in, maybe lengthening through that back leg, squaring off the hips a little bit towards the front of the mat. Relaxing the shoulders. And either staying here or coming down. And stacking the hands or stacking the arms one on top of the other, just for a little bit more height to rest the head down. And again, there should be no sensation of twinging or pain in the knee here. And if this pose isn't right for you, you can always take a figure 4 pose, lying on the back, bringing the right ankle over the left thigh.
And just coming into our last few breaths here. And taking that big breath in. And sighing out. And then bringing the hands underneath the shoulders to bring yourself back up. And coming out of this, whichever way is more comfortable for you. So maybe tucking those back toes, lifting the hips and bringing the foot back. You could even pedal out the legs just for a moment here in downward facing dog, or just resting here in a tabletop position. Maybe gently swaying the hips side to side, noticing the difference from one side to the other. Okay, and let's take that on the other side. So our left knee this time is going to come towards the left wrist, and the left foot comes towards the right hip. So wiggling into your sleeping swan or your swan pose, finding that place that feels good for you. So again, maybe just picking up that back knee, lengthening the leg, allowing the hips to square towards the front of the mat, just as much as is right for your body. And again, if you've got something to put underneath your left hip, then that might feel nice and supported here as well. So staying here or coming on down into our sleeping swan pose. Again, maybe stacking the palms or the arms one on top of each other. And just resting here. So letting go as much as you can in this pose. Give yourself permission to just relax. And we're not forcing relaxation to happen, we're just allowing it to be there. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And that's okay. And again, if any emotions come up, allowing ourselves to feel them fully in the physical body. Resisting the urge to judge them with the mind. And when you're ready, taking a big breath in. And sighing out. And again, using the hands to walk the torso back upright. And this time just roll onto that front hip. And then bring your back leg all the way around. And we're going to make our way down onto our backs. So, coming onto the back, we're just going to come into a simple twist. So with the feet underneath the knees, just press into the feet and lift the hips, and then slide them just a couple of inches over to the left. And then the arms can come out long like a T, reaching away from you, or you can bend the elbows like a cactus, or any other arm variation that feels good. And we're just going to let the knees rock over to the right. So wherever the arms are, just seeing if we can keep that left shoulder glued down to the floor, the mat. It might be helpful here to put something underneath the knees, just to allow you to keep both shoulders in contact with the floor. Either gazing up or over to the left. A little bit more of a twist through the upper back into the neck. And then take a big breath in here. And sigh it out. Just draw the belly button in slightly as you bring the knees back to center. Take your time. And then bringing the arms back down, just press firmly into the feet once more, lift the hips, and then slide them this time over to the right. So again, just a few inches. That just gives the spine a little bit more space to lengthen as you come into this twist. So arms reaching out long, take the knees over to the left. Again, see if we can keep that right shoulder on the ground, so maybe just drawing the shoulder blade down the back, either gazing up or over the right shoulder. Last few breaths here. And take a big breath in. And sigh it out. And draw the belly button back in. Bring the knees back up towards center. And then just bring the knees up one at a time. So right knee into right hand, left knee into left hand. And just give them a gentle squeeze here. So allow the spine to lengthen and neutralize after those twists. Maybe just rocking gently side to side. Bringing your awareness back to the sacral chakra area of the spine, the lower abdomen, this whole pelvic bowl. And then when you're ready, just straighten the legs out one at a time on your mat. Coming into our Shavasana. So take the feet out as wide as the mat, maybe even a little bit wider. And let the feet roll out to the sides. Bring the shoulder blades underneath you. Lengthen the back of the neck, and maybe pick up the head here. So the chin can just draw in slightly. Maybe making this mudra again, so bringing the thumbs and the index finger together and just resting it there with the thumb just below the belly button. Elbows gently resting on the floor. Or otherwise taking the hands out to the side. And just taking a few moments in silence here to allow our bodies, our minds to adapt from our practice. And if the hands are on the belly, just feel the rise and fall. And then silently saying to yourself, I feel. bringing a little smile to the lips. And finding some movement in the fingers and the toes. Circling the wrists. Maybe stretching the arms overhead. And then when you're ready, bending the knees one at a time. And just rolling onto one side, pausing here for a moment. Curling up in a little ball. And just reminding ourselves that to feel is to be human. And then when you're ready, making your way up to a seat. And then sitting up nice and tall, roll the shoulders back, stacking them above the hips. Well, thank you so much for practicing with me. If you've enjoyed this practice, then do let me know, leave a comment. Of course, remember to like and subscribe. And if you would like to do a longer version of this practice, then head on over to my website where you'll find a full on-demand library of videos there. You can also do a short meditation. I'll link to the video up here, maybe over here, maybe down there somewhere. So thank you very much. I hope to see you again very soon. Namaste.